Hey, welcome back, and in this video we're gonna touch a bit more on the UX portfolios. And another recommendation for you, if you're new to this or you're just redesigning your UX portfolios, is how to treat your NDA material. When you, let's say, work on some serious projects, you sign the no disclosure agreement with, let's say, your clients or organizations you work for, and then you can't really share it with anyone. And so, in the design, UI and UX design and product design, we tend to either overlook it or we tend to not to think about it too much, and we just either share it across and then don't think about the consequences, and it might bite us in the end. Now, there are a few different approaches here. It always depends what your agreement with your employer. There is always that hard NDA, there is something in between, and there is something you can always share. Now, going that approach, something which is strictly NDA, I wouldn't even consider showing on a portfolio, be it, private, password protected, or a PDF or a public. Just don't show it at all, because chances are, if you're a designer, you work on so many different things which you can still showcase. And myself included, I work on a lot of government contracts, on a lot of different technology contracts, big data, AI contracts, and I can't share anything. So what do? I share everything what I can in between, and it's all self-directed material. So let's say passion projects. If you check my portfolio right now, click the link down below, you're gonna see that it's mostly self-directed, or it's old projects which I can share to an extent. Now the tricky bit is in between. So that's where, let's say, you have a gray zone where you're not sure if you should be sharing. My general advice would be just don't share. If you think that it might infringe any NDA, just don't do it at all, because it's not worth the risk, especially if you're developing as a professional. Chances are you're here for a long run, meaning you're gonna be doing this for years to come, and after a decade, if something goes wrong and something picks it up, especially if ever emerging technologies and AI crunching the data and what's being exposed, and even something like image recognition, the mockups you share might be picked up, and then you could face a lawsuit, which you don't really want. It could bankrupt your business or just set you aside. You don't really want to do that. So something in between, something NDA, forget about it. Think of something you can actually share. In my specific example, 90% of my material and cases I work on are purely NDA. I'm not allowed to share anything, and I don't. What I do share is something what I know that it wouldn't infringe those material, which is process photo on Instagram, videos on YouTube, blog posts on process improvements, UX management, strategy, and leadership. So it's all content around the edges. It's not actual cases, it's not actual work I'm paid for, but everything what I capture and document around it, which I can share like with you guys. It all builds me as a professional, and it all gives me cred, alongside my portfolio self-directed work, which I just showcased, which I can't share with anyone I wish. But all these bits in between are actually adding up value to it, and it's portraying me as a designer, covers all those gaps you might have in the resume, where they say maybe you spent 3 years working only on NDA stuff and you're not allowed to share. If you're not allowed to share, what did you do in that case? Maybe you have some sort of process picks, self-directed wireframes, process improvements inside the company. Maybe you raised awareness of something, maybe you drove change, maybe you led the team. Showcase how you led that team, tell it how you led the team. And until you actually can share something under NDA, or until those projects go live, which is another trick, a lot of different NDAs dictate that you can't share anything until the projects go live. This is something to keep in mind. Once they go live, you can at least share the visual mockups. Maybe you can share the process of how you write the conclusions, or all the user research findings, or all the stakeholder workshop findings. Maybe you can share those, or technology ways of working, or IPs and stuff like that. But maybe you can then share around the edges. So sometimes you just have to wait until the thing goes live, and then there is no NDA infringement, and then you can actually share it. I've seen so many people using passwords and PDFs and just showcasing sensitive material, and just almost gambling. I would say stay clear of that unless you know that nobody else is gonna share it across. But in this day and age, you know, if you share a PDF with a recruiter, chances are they're gonna keep it. They might send it, even if GDPR restrictions, they might just send it across to clients, and then you don't know what happens to it. So I would recommend, 1, showcase self-directed work. 2, showcase your process, everything you did which doesn't infringe NDAs. Maybe it's a process improvements again, maybe it's a Instagram pics of your work on whiteboards and all that jazz. And 3, wait time until you can actually showcase, because if your work goes public and a lot of users are publicly using it, then you can say that you had your input on it, that you worked on it, that that's your stamp, you did UX for it. You can at least showcase that. Maybe you can't go into nitty-gritty details, but you can still show it. So these are the ways you can do it. Again, it's up to you what to do, but that's my recommendation from my experience. I've just seen so many people, you know, not totally directly burned by it, but I've seen a lot of on the edges where we had to explain themselves of why they're sharing stuff, and that, you know, caused a lot of friction. But still, it's not something you want to place yourself in, so you need to know exactly what you can play with. But if you follow this advice, it should be fine. And as usual, I hope it's useful. I hope you're shaping up your portfolio better, and I hope you're implementing these tips. If you like this, as always, leave a like, subscribe to this channel, share with your friends, and stay tuned for more material. And I'll see you next time.